morning, everybody. Just a word of warning, I have a bit of a longer speech, so we're gonna get through this together with my handy umbrella lady here. All right, so today is about a finish line. A finish line people can physically see and cheer for. A finish line people cross surrounded by encouragement, community, and support. But as someone who works in mental health, I've learned that some of the hardest races people run are completely invisible to everyone around them. The race to survive your own mind. The race to keep going through grief, anxiety, hopelessness, shame, burnout, or emotional exhaustion. The race to rebuild yourself after believing parts of you were too broken to come back from. And the truth is, every woman's finish line looks different. For some women, the finish line is getting out of bed. It is asking for help or surviving another day. For some, it is simply making it through a difficult season in life. But not every finish line is reached easily. Some women are still fighting battles nobody around them can fully see. Some women are grieving versions of themselves they thought they would become. And some families here today may be carrying grief, fear, or loss connected to mental illness itself. These realities all deserve honesty, and I'm a proud survivor to be in these realities with you today. My name is Kaylee Robertson. I'm a writer, a professional speaker, and a peer support specialist dedicated to supporting individuals through psychological difficulties. My professional home is in the Oakville Hospital's First Episode Psychosis Phoenix program. Outside of my clinical work, much of my research and advocacy focuses on social media and the psychological impact digital environments are having on our society. And I'm committed to changing the world one open conversation about social media at a time. This is my 4th year standing on this stage for the Run for Women event. And my first speech took place when I was 23 years old. I'm a few months shy of 27 now. And every year I've understood something different about what it means to recover and what it means to be a woman. Before I was capable of being on stages like these, I was a young girl struggling to survive inside my own mind. I was hospitalized multiple times at age 16 due to social media use, low self-esteem, and suicidal ideation. And for years after being hospitalized, I struggled through isolation, misunderstanding, criticism, and moments where it felt like other people's interpretations of me were louder than my own reality. Recovery was not immediate for me. It was slow, painful, confusing, and deeply human. When I was younger, recovery felt like survival, and it was survival. I was just grateful to still be alive. And I thought life would wholeheartedly just be easier. And I think that as I crossed my own finish line in recovery, of returning to work, graduating university, and finding normalcy again after I'd lost all of it, gratitude of survival was a very valid response. But the older I've gotten, the more I've realized that the finish line is not the end of the story. Because after recovery, women still have to exist inside environments that can feel emotionally exhausting to navigate. And the older I've gotten, the more I've realized how difficult it can be to be a woman. Women are often expected to carry enormous emotional weight while continuing to appear composed through all of it. It's a pressure to be everything at once, to care for other people while still caring for yourself, to appear successful, emotionally regulated, attractive, productive, and okay, even when you are struggling internally. And the expectation is to just do it. And now many of those pressures are amplified inside digital environments where womanhood itself has become commentary. As a teenage girl already struggling with my mental health, social media became another layer of pressure at a time when I was already trying to understand who I was. I was living in environments the world didn't realize Gen Z was now growing up inside of. A world of pressure, comparison, and constant visibility. a world that promised connection but was isolating. And as I research these environments, I've come to see something much deeper than just how it makes individuals feel, but also how society has shifted around it. For women, social media showcases that womanhood itself has become something performed, evaluated, and publicly discussed. It's not just in real life anymore that women are marginalized. Now women are constantly absorbing messages about who they should be, how they should look, how they should behave, and whether they are doing it correctly. The biggest issue with this experience on social media is that it shifts the way you value yourself, the way you believe other people see you. For me, it intensified shame, it intensified insecurity, and it intensified the feeling that I was never fully enough. And I know that I'm not the only woman standing here who has felt that weight. Many women are navigating an identity shaped in digital environments built around comparison, performance, visibility, and constant evaluation. Identities that shape the way women see themselves, whether they fully realize it or not. And women's mental health is online commentary too. Something that's debated on social media, reduced to trends, stereotypes, or hot takes, treated as exaggeration instead of real pain. Data of rising rates of mental illness are being questioned online, with mental health care itself reduced to discourse or online rhetoric. And within all the debates, the right and the left, the truth and the lies, and within life itself, many women are genuinely overwhelmed. Women are navigating lives that can feel emotionally relentless, plain and simple. Relationships are complicated, families are complicated, friendships are complicated, expectations too, and life feels lonely. Now, as a woman working in mental health, I see the rising rates of depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, and psychosis. And when I speak with patients, I hear common threads. Women describing burnout that feels impossible to recover from. Women describing anxiety that never fully shuts off. And women feeling disconnected from themselves after years of surviving emotionally instead of living fully. Women navigating a society that increasingly disconnects human beings from their own identities. And women who feel alone. I think many women are not necessarily looking for perfection anymore. I think many women are looking for emotional rest. A moment where they do not have to perform strength, composure, productivity, healing, or perfection for the world around them. But the unfortunate reality for many young girls is that they believe emotional rest will only arrive when they meet the ideal. What we once knew as, I'll finally be happy, has become, I'll finally be the right version of myself. An identity shaped by digital environments. And when emotional peace becomes tied to achieving that identity, understand how difficult ordinary life and normalcy can feel, even after recovery. When that ideal becomes impossible to fully achieve, many women are left carrying a deep feeling of inadequacy that they were never meant to hold. When women are living like this, it's no surprise so many of us are struggling. And women are not weak for reacting to overwhelming conditions. They are human. I think one of the most important things we can do for women's mental health is remove the shame from that reality. Healing does not begin when women become perfect. Healing begins when women no longer feel they must hide their humanity in order to deserve support, honesty, rest, or compassion. Healing begins when women learn what is happening to them. When women are allowed to label it. And when women are supported through these experiences and can simply be human. We spend so much time trying to become someone that we forget we were already human to begin with. What gives me hope now as a survivor is not the idea that life suddenly becomes easy after recovery. It doesn't. Life is still difficult. Existing can still feel heavy sometimes. What gives me hope now is that spaces are beginning to exist where women can finally speak honestly about these experiences. What gives me hope now is language, knowledge, awareness, and women realizing they are not failing individually, but reacting to environments and pressures that many of us are quietly struggling to navigate together. And what gives me hope now is women supporting one another through that reality, instead of suffering through it alone. I think that is part of what today represents to me as a survivor of mental illness. A 5K is not easy. It's grueling, it's exhausting. And even after you cross the finish line, your body still feels the impact of that race. You're tired, you're depleted, and you still need rest, care, support, and recovery. And I think mental health recovery can feel very similar. There is something deeply impactful about finally reaching a place of stability after fighting so hard to survive your own mind. But that does not mean life suddenly becomes easy after. In recovery, we are still returning to environments that continue asking us to perform, compare, adapt, and emotionally carry more than we were ever meant to alone. You still have to navigate all of it. And while, as I've aged, I have lived and seen many of these realities in recovery, choosing to live was still the most important decision that I ever made. And it is one I am proud to help guide other individuals through every single day. Through survival, through healing, and through the very human reality that life is difficult sometimes. So no, the finish line is not the end of our story. Recovery is not just about survival. It is about learning how to continue living honestly and compassionately after the race has already changed you. And part of healing is simply realizing that none of us were ever meant to carry this alone. We all showed up for women today. And maybe that is the most powerful thing of all. People coming together to remind one another that none of us are carrying invisible finish lines entirely alone. And no women should have to cross them alone. Hope is not only survival, it is community. Because the only way forward is together. Thank you.